दैवेव स्थिता युद्धे। हेलो। दैवेव स्थिता युद्धे प्राणान् त्यक्त्वा धनानि च आचार्याः पितरः पुत्राः तथैव च पितामहाः मातुलाः श्वशुराः पौत्राः शालासम्बन्धिनस्तथा एतान् न हन्तुमिच्छामि नतोऽपि मधुसूदन अपि त्रैलोक्यराज्यस्य हेतो किन्नु मयि कृते निहत्य धार्तराष्ट्रान्नः का प्रीतिः स्यात् जनार्दन पापमेवाश्रयेदस्मान् अद्वैतानाततायिनः तस्मान्नार्हा वयं हन्तुम् धार्तराष्ट्रान् स्वबान्धवान् स्वजनं हि कथं हत्वा सुखिनः स्याम माधव यद्यप्येतेन पश्यन्ति लोभोपहत चेतसः कुलक्षयकृतं दोषम् मित्रद्रोहे च पातकम् कथं न ज्ञेयमस्माभिः पापादस्मान् निवर्तितुम् कुलक्षयकृतं दोषम् प्रपश्यद्भिर्जनार्दन कुलक्षये प्रणश्यन्ति कुलधर्माः सनातनाः धर्मे नष्टे कुलं कृत्स्नम् अधर्मोऽभिभवत्युत अधर्माभिभवात् कृष्ण प्रदुष्यन्ति कुलस्त्रियः Move break between प्रदुष्यन्ति and कुलस्त्रियः. Okay. प्रदुष्यन्ति कुलस्त्रियः स्त्रीषु दुष्टासु वार्ष्णेय जायते वर्णसङ्करः ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु in the last life, before the weekend. What have we seen? That Arjuna is in a great state of agitation. And what's the agitation here? Killing his own people. Wherever he sees his own people, and he is unable to come to terms with the fact that they have to die. This doesn't make any sense to him. He says this does ullanghanam of what is called kula dharma. You have seen samanya dharma, correct? Samanya dharma is that which is universally right and wrong, that which doesn't need to be taught, that which is inherently understood and reiterated in the parental upbringing and schools and religions, etc. This is what Samanya Dharma. A subset of that we saw is Vishesha Dharma, the application of Samanya Dharma according to time, place and whatever is there, specific situation. Then again a subset of this Vishesha Dharma is Swadharma. An expression of this Swadharma, Vishesha Dharma is Swadharma. Remember the three concentric circles, and so the smallest one is Swadharma. Now suddenly here Kula Dharma, what is that? That is again how the Vishesha Dharma and Swadharma are expressed within families, clans, who are called Gotras, belonging to certain rishis. So just like if somebody makes, dal there in Eastern India, it will be slightly different from dal made in Western India and the dal made in South India. Just like that, it's dal all right. In one place it is generously endowed with tamarind, the dal from South India, and then elsewhere it is got a seasoning of mustard oil. Somewhere else they put sugar, a little bit of sugar, like this. There are many ways of making this dal. So the same Samanya Dharma and the same Vishesha Dharma is expressed differently in certain families. And you would have seen in weddings, they will say, in our family we do this particular ritual in this way. Because according to, there are certain iterations of Dharma Shastras that have come down, and then there are also certain things called sutras, Apastamba Sutra, Gautama Sutra, like that. There are certain sutras, small iterations or expressions of Dharma Shastras followed in families. This is called Kula Dharma. Kula Dharma is just Samanya Dharma and Vishesha Dharma and Swadharma expressed in family. According to Varna, one's potential and one's skills, etc. And then occupation, whatever it is, and ashrama. Ashrama means what? The appropriate dharma for a particular stage in one's life, whatever is appropriate. So, as a student, what are you supposed to do?
Study.
Yeah, study. Yeah. People are not wanting to say that, because if you say it, it becomes true. Yeah. Soon after the weekend, nobody wants to say it. What are you supposed to do?
Study.
You're supposed to study. So, but what happens so many times, student means they do everything else except study. There are political organizations for students, and then there is some other, some kind of a club for students. All kinds of things are there. The study itself becomes a hobby, and the hobby becomes the primary occupation. This is sometimes the situation, but not according to the ancient Shastra. Brahmachari means study. Adhyayanam, that is the main kartavya, that is the main duty, is to study. It doesn't mean you can follow politics. You don't have to live under a rock. You should know who the Prime Minister is of your country and other countries also. Nothing wrong. But it's not that you go into politics. That is, otherwise then you would not be known as a student. What would you be? A politician. So then you, after after the studies were over, there would be a ritual bath that was taken. And the name of this bath was called Avabhrita Snanam, a ritualistic bath. In a way, it is what? A graduation bath. Okay. And then after that, one was allowed to get married. And the Taittiriya Upanishad says, Acharyaya priyam dhanam akritya prajatantum ma vyavachchetsihi. Acharyaya, for the teacher, so you pay it forward. Somebody else has already paid for you. And what do? You give it to, you help other people by giving money to the ashram. And it says, please collect the money and give it before you get married, the Upanishad says. Why? We all know what happens after you get married. You have to consult the significant other and their families and all these things, and everybody says you have already studied in the Gurukula, why give? Don't give. So many problems will come. So the permission to marry is given after the Guru Dakshina has been given. Then you enter into the life of a householder, then additional dharmas are coming, because up till now somebody took care of your education, and then you gave the money after going to the king. And this is how in the Raghu Vamsha we find that a student comes to ask King Raghu for money to give to his ashram. And King Raghu is doing a big sacrifice where everything is being given away. Only clay pots are there. And so that is, that's how we know that the endowments of kings and rich benefactors kept the ashrams going. Even now to this day, that is how they are run. And then, so this is the way it has been. And then this is the householder's life where you are a contributor. Till now you are a consumer. And then now you are what? A contributor. Then you help all kinds of causes and you do good in the world. And after that, you outgrow the need for being validated all the time. You outgrow the need to serve on committees. You outgrow the need to get a pat on the back. You outgrow the need for all these things. And a natural vairagya comes, let me just be by myself, let me study the Shastra. You hand over the keys to the children and then go to the forest, and the husband and the wife live like friends in the forest. What is this called? Vanaprastha. Now there is no Vana itself. On deforestation, where will you go? Stay in a separate flat. That's all. Yes. And then after that, even the flat is dropped. The flat becomes too flat to contain the lofty ideas of just being within the glory of oneself. So while in the Vanaprastha, one is studying with gurus, etc. One is studying all the time, and then one gains this knowledge, or in order to gain this knowledge, sannyasa is taken up. There are many kinds of sannyasa, and we will have occasion to discuss the various kinds of sannyasa. But for now, there are two kinds of sannyasa, which we are going to talk about. One is called Veditum Ichha Vividisha Sannyasa, the desire to know. So, a Sarva Karma Sannyasa, a sannyasa that is taken for the desire to know, is called what? Vividisha, Veditum Ichha, the desire to know. Then there is another kind of sannyasa, which where one already knows and one just wants to enter into this ashrama called sannyasa. Why? To be just firming up oneself in the knowledge. This is called gaining what is called jnana nishtha. So in order for jnana nishtha, the sannyasa that is taken is called vidvan sannyasa. The sannyasa that is taken for jnanam itself, which is also a valid sannyasa, is called vividisha sannyasa. So then you repair to a life of sannyasa, even though it is Atyashrama. It's an ashrama that is beyond ashrama, really. It is called like that. Still, it comes within the 4 ashramas. We count it for the sake of counting it, even though the sannyasi has no dharma, really speaking. But this is what is varnashrama vyavastha, that is expressed differently in each family. Once I went with Pujya Swamiji to somebody's house for Bhiksha, and then they had a doubt. So when they came to take us in the car to their house, they said, "Oh, we want to welcome you Maharashtrian style. Is it okay?" But that is just an expression, because everywhere you go there are different ways of honoring the Guru. There are different ways of receiving the Guru. There will be some similar thing. Lamps are involved, water is involved, flower is involved, all these things are there, flowers are involved. But how it is done is slightly different. So this is an example of the various kinds of Kula dharmas. Arjuna's main problem here is that all the men going to battle, and he is very proud of his Kula. He comes from wonderful clan, and everybody traces their clan to rishis. And then even beyond the rishis, we have 2 main families, Chandravamshi and Suryavamshi. Suryavamshi, Chandravamshi. The sun and the moon. I mean, where beyond that we cannot go. Really. Much nicer and much more fulfilling than seeing that we have evolved from monkeys. Really. Much more fulfilling. And the monkeys themselves may be feeling sad. They call themselves our evolutes. Look at how they behave. Like that they must be thinking. And so now there is a beautiful section here where he has a lot of paritapa, a lot of agitation is expressed, because he says that in this the costs of war are many. It's not just that you have to have a lot of artillery and lot of money. Yes, that is it. Then it's not just that people are fodder of the cannonballs. Everybody is killed. They are fodders of arrows. They become food for the arrows. That is also there, yes. But then it's not just that. It's not just that there is a river of blood that is flowing, but also families are destroyed. When the families are destroyed, then the dharma that is kept up by the families are destroyed. As we saw last time, dharma cannot be protected by itself. Why? Because it depends on the person practicing the dharma. Who is that? Dharmi. Dharmin. One who is in dharma. Dharmin. So the dharmin has to be there. And if the dharmin is itself killed, and this is where Arjuna is extremely confused. If the dharmin is killed, then for the sake of dharma, you are killing the person who is potentially practicing dharma. What is this? How is this dharma? So, if supposing a person is selling drugs, and this happened actually in the 70s, in somewhere in Rajasthan. And what happened? This man was selling drugs, but in the form of ice cream to little middle school children. And they became addicted, even though in the recess they would go, in the interval of the school, they would just go and buy from him only because they were getting a little high. 10-year-olds, 11-year-olds. And all the other ice cream people went and complained that he must be putting something in his ice cream which is addictive. None of our mall is getting, how do you say mall in English? Supplies. Or stock. Thank you. So none of our stock is getting exhausted. It's only they go to this fellow. Why? Then he was caught by the police, and they analyzed it and found it had some traces of some highly addictive drug. When he was caught, he said, "Oh, don't worry, with the money that I am getting from selling the ice cream to these young children, I am opening an orphanage." So, this is how it is in Arjuna's mind. What kind of dharma is this? You are selling drugs to the children, on the one hand destroying a whole lot of children. And then with that money you're going to build an orphanage. This makes no sense. So for Arjuna, you are killing the people for whose sake? Dharma's sake. And who are these people? People who are capable of practicing dharma. So you are killing people for the sake of dharma. You are killing dharmis. Because if you kill the dharma gets destroyed. And even these rich traditions of clan dharma gets destroyed. And it's so beautiful to go to any Indian home in any corner of India. You go from Srinagar all the way to Kanyakumari. You will find a whole range of etiquette, a whole range of ways of doing rituals, a whole range of ways of worship. It is just beautiful. Arjuna's fear is all this will be gone. Why? Actually, the women are the upkeepers of dharma. But the men are destroyed, and the women, what will happen to the women? They will be left unprotected. And as history is the witness, what happens when women are left unprotected? Colonizers come, and they will bring in their own, don't say dharma, adharma, which passes off as dharma. And the women will not, they will take over, there is rape, there is pillage, there is conquest, and then there is this dharma is destroyed if the women are not protected. This is how his argument is going, line by line. Let us look at this verse which we just chanted. So, Utsadhyante, he says, Jati dharma, Kula. Jati dharma is Varnashrama dharma. And then Kula dharma. And then Dharme nashte kulam kritsnam adharmaha abhibhavati uta. Uta means will not dharma be adharma overwhelm dharma. Naturally it will. Then what will happen when that happens? He is very logical. Adharma vibhavat Krishna pradushyanti kulastriyaha. So the women belonging to these clans will be taken over by other powers. Pradushyanti literally means will become impure, but that's not the intended meaning here. So that's not how we should we should translate it. That would be a disservice to the Bhagavad Gita. So it's not that women become impure, women are taken over by other cultures. And if they are taken over by other cultures, those cultures will predominate. Or if those are religions which don't allow the expression of any other culture, then again this religion is destroyed. So, pradushyanti kulastriyaha, strisu dushtasu, when the women are impaired, means not able to express their dharma. Women are not able to either express dharma or protect dharma. Why? Because they themselves have been taken over by other marauders, intruders. This is what has happened in history. Whenever the kingdom falls, what happens? The colonizers come. And not just in India. We have seen this in Korea. When the Japanese colonized Korea, that's what happened. Even now, the women there, for being abused and misused, are demanding reparations. So this is what happens. And so, Strisu Dushtasu Varshneya. Varshneya is the name of Krishna according to his clan, Vrishni. Vrishni clan, belonging to the Vrishni clan. And what is this? Since we are on the topic of clans, he is using his clan name. Jayate Varna Sankaraha. Sankara means mix-up, not to be confused with Shankara, whose meaning we know. Okay? What is Sankara? Yeah. Sankara means confusion. Sankara. Yeah, confusion. Confusion and mix-up. Sankara means mix-up. Then next one. Sankara means there will be confusion because the children will not know. The children of this kind of the sad union between the colonizer and the colonized. So the women that are left behind after the war, who are perhaps either they commit suicide, which was the practice in India, or they are taken over by the winning rulers, foreign powers, etc. And then what? The children, there is confusion and mix up in the society. They won't know what is right, what is wrong. And then he says about this Sankara, he says something. Sankaro narakayaiva Sankaro narakayaiva Kulagnana kulasya cha Kulagnana kulasya cha Patanti pitaro hyesham Patanti pitaro hyesham Lupta pindodaka kriyaha Lupta pindodaka kriyaha. So, Sankara, not Shankara. Narakayai eva. So, any mix-up is what? is as good as hell. Narakayai. Narakaya eva. Narakayaiva. So, Narakaya means it is for the sake of going to hell. It's as good as hell. As good as going to hell. And then so it leads the family. What happens? Kulagnana, kulasya cha, for the kula, for the family, the clan, and for the kulagnana. Gnaha means destroyer. Kulam nanti iti kulagnana. So, Tesham. So, for the destroyers of the family, all of them are in a world of pain. They are in a world of pain. Why are the destroyers in pain? The destroyers are also in pain because they get papa. They may be feeling good in the moment if they survive the war. But remember, we have talked of two kinds of results of karma. What are they? Drishtaphala, Adrishtaphala. Visible results, immediate results, and non-immediate, long-term, invisible results of karma. Now think about this. Now what happens? Duryodhana is only interested in Drishtaphala. What does he want? Kingdom. When does he want it? Right now. He wants kingdom. 13 years he has ruled. But why kingdom? Look at the power. You have the whole army. Your word is your command. And then you get good things to eat, best of the things to wear, and so much power. And you have all the best astrologers, mind readers, hand readers, leg readers, any kind of readers you want, are all there gathered. You have all philosophers gathered. In the King's Court, you will find all the best musicians gathered. You don't have to go anywhere. The concert comes to you. And any kind of a vivada, any kind of debate, philosophical debate comes to you. The sun rises with you. It's almost like you have to give the permission to the sun to rise. Like this much power is there, this much power. And once somebody has tasted this power, it's very, very sad to not have it. Terribly sad to not have it. And then, same thing. That's why one has to be very, very careful, because there is an English saying, power corrupts, but absolute power absolutely corrupts, or corrupts absolutely. So this is what was his law. He wanted only Drishtaphala. He was not bothered. He was not bothered about, I am on the wrong side of dharma and I am killing all these people in order for this kingdom which is not even mine. It should rightly go to them. It was their father's kingdom which should go to them. No. He is not bothered. Arjuna, this is the difference between Arjuna and Duryodhana. Arjuna raised very dharmically, was an extremely dharmic person. And he is bothered about all these things. He is bothered about what is going to happen to the Kula Dharma. What is going to happen to the women that we leave behind? What will their lot be? What will their fate be? How will they live with other men? Because they are all very belonging to this Sanatana Dharma. They are all very soft spoken, full of culture and everything. How will they live with aggressors? And then he brings out one more point. So, he brings out one more very interesting point. What does he say? He says that Sankaraha Narakaya Eva Kuladhanam Kulasya cha. So this Sankara, this mix-up of the society, the corruption, the confusion which is the result of war, is just leading everybody to a world of pain. Moreover, there is one more set of people that is ignored in the war. Children are of course ignored. The women's condition is not thought about. And also the ancestors are ignored. How are the ancestors ignored? We have the ancestor festival. In India, it is there in Bali, it is there in Thailand, it is there in Vietnam, in the whole of Southeast Asia. There is this. It's called Pitru Paksha, comes in late September generally. And there 15 days are reserved for helping, for remembering the ancestors and helping them by giving them what is called Sadgati through the offering of rice and sesame balls and water. And then this we have a sankalpa. We want some of our good karma to go to them because we don't know in what condition they are. And if we give a little bit of our good karma, they will be in a better condition. That is the idea. 3 generations on either side, everybody does. Maternal side, paternal side. Beyond 3, we don't know where they are or what they are doing, or if they have been reincarnated, we don't know anything. 3 generations we do. And then this is a very big part of Hindu Dharma, an extremely huge part of Hindu Dharma. This Shraddha, very important because this is what connects us to the unseen world. And it is their blessings. See, this doesn't apply if the Pitru, the ancestors were dacoits or serial killers. No. It is for dharmic ancestors. So those ancestors, with their blessings alone, things happen. That is the idea. Because of their blessings, all the good things happen. So in the household, whenever there is a thread ceremony, the ancestors are invoked and their blessing is taken. And whenever there is a marriage, you invoke the ancestors and then only you have this Nandi, it is called, you invoke the ancestors and then only you have the ceremony, whatever ceremony. You first take the permission of the ancestors. So now, with this new-fangled way of life, we are all mixed up. And who will take care of the Pitrus? Who will give the Pinda Dana? This is called Pinda. The rice and sesame ball is called Pinda. Who will offer Pinda? And so what will happen to them? They will all become Lukta Pindodaka Kriya. Pinda Udaka. The Pinda and water, Kriya means ritual. Lukta means those ancestors will be deprived of. They become deprived of this ritual involving the ball of sesame and rice and sesame and then till and rice balls. So these rice and sesame balls, they will be deprived of the offering. And so even we cannot bank on the blessings of Bhagavan and in the form of Pitrus. We cannot even count on the blessings of our own family members who are dear and departed. This is indeed a terrible, terrible state of affairs. And this way the war can absolutely not go on. It should not go on. He says, Patanti Pitaraha. So the ancestors, what will happen? Denied of their pindas, they will fall from heaven. Maybe it is our pindas that are keeping them in heaven, our good karmas that are keeping them in heaven. Here what are we doing? We are depriving them of that. So they may have a fall, they may just get into a bad place. And we are the ones that would be responsible for this. Imagine how much papas we will get. And then further, doshairetaiः kulagnānām varnasankarakaiः utsadyante jati dharmaः kuladharmascha shashvataः. So, says that doshaihi etaihi, through these flaws, wrong actions, the flaws of whose? The kulagnana, of the destroyers of this kuladharmas. And then, who are they? The ones who create the confusion in the society, who create all this mix-up. Varna Sankara Karakas, they are the agents who create this mix-up. Utsadyante, the dharmas pursued by the community are also destroyed. Jati dharmaha, kula dharmaha, shashvataha. These dharmas were followed how many years? How many centuries? All of them are gone, destroyed. Because, see, if Kula Dharma is not there, Jati Dharma means the Varna Dharma, Ashrama Dharma. Nobody will follow. Who will follow that? So the students will be needing to take up a job, and then the whatever the married people will abandon their children and run away because there is no overarching dharma. The force of this dharma is not there. The elders are all gone who can teach. Plus there is confusion. Different kinds of people have come together and mixed. They are all mixed up. They don't know what to follow and what not to follow. So the basic rights and wrongs, everybody understands. This is true. Everybody understands the basic do's and don'ts and rights and wrongs, people understand. But there should be like a ethical order, a moral order that keeps the society together. Otherwise anarchy will prevail. Somebody is killing somebody, somebody is hurting somebody, somebody is destroying somebody else's property, somebody is running away with somebody else's spouse. This is what is going to happen according to Arjuna. He was a very sensitive person. All these things troubled him greatly. He was wanting he was after all a warrior. A Kshatriya means protector. Kshatriya trayati. The person who protects the land, protects the people. Kshatriya trana is called Kshatriya. So, and Kshetra trana also is called Kshatriya. Protects things and protects people, protects land. So he also feels that he is protecting the dharma. In his own way, he is protecting the dharma. And so therefore, he is very, very upset at this state of affairs. He says, what kind of a society do we have to look forward to after this war? After this war, it's all going to be destruction, destruction, destruction unfolding everywhere. And the people are going to, whoever survives is going to go scot-free with the kingdom and enjoy it. And the rest of the people will be suffering. There is no family dharma, there is no jati dharma. People don't have any kind of a moral order. The moral order is shaken up, and because of that, there will be great suffering. Then he goes further and says that there are consequences for this action. Utsanna kula dharmanam manushyanam janardana भवतीत्यनुशुश्रुव अहो बत महत्पापम् कर्तुं व्यवसिता वयम् यद्राज्यसुखलोभेन हन्तुं स्वजनमुद्यताः इति अनुशुश्रुमा. In this way we have heard. Shushruma heard Anushushruva by the elders in accordance to how the elders have taught us. We have heard from the elders. We have heard. O Janardana, O Krishna, we have heard. What have we heard then? Utsanna Kula Dharmana. For people who destroy family dharma. For the destroyers of the family dharma, what have we heard? Manushyanam, for those people, Narake Niyatam Vasa. Vasaha. Narake Niyatam Vasaha. We have heard that Niyatam means according to rule. Niyama, rule. Niyatam, according as a rule. What have we heard? Definitely they will be leading a life of pain. This is true whether you believe there is Naraka or not, doesn't matter. They will be definitely leading a life of terrible confusion and terrible pain. Why? Because this is if you go and destroy a harmless people that are just going about doing their jobs, then what will happen? Definitely there will be Drishtaphala. You have to live with your hurt, you have to live with your guilt, and there will be Adrishtaphala also. And both are Naraka. Don't think Naraka is what you go to after death. Even here, one's life is as good as hell. Why? Because there is so much pain. There is your own guilt and hurt, which is the Drishtaphala of destroying other people's dharma. And then there is the Adrishtaphala in the form of Papa. Papa is uncomfortable situations. When uncomfortable situation as a result of following adharma. Uncomfortable situations in the here or in the hereafter. Narake niyatam vasaha bhavati iti anushushruva. Aho vata, oh alas, mahat papam, a terrible papa. We are about to commit a terrible papa. Look at this. We are taking life, we are taking the dharma of the people, we are taking their livelihood, we are taking their family, we are taking all kinds of things. Mahat papam kartum vyavasita vayam, we are getting ready to do a terrible papa. We have set ourselves up to, vyavasita means we are setting ourselves up for a terrible, terrible papa, the likes of which the world has never seen before. Why? Yad rajya sukha lobhena. Because of sheer greed. What is the greed for? Rajya, kingdom. Leading toward sukha, happiness. Yad rajya sukha lobhena. Antum swajanam udyataha. Here we are udyataha. Means with our bows and arrows taut. Ready to fight not for dharma, but ready to fight for the greed of the kingdom, Rajya, in order so that we have some sukha, ordering people around, sleeping on soft velvet pillows, and then those kinds of things. So for those sukha, which is gained by the Rajya, kingdom, pleasures, all these things, Artha Kama pursuits, that's all they are. For this mere Arthakama pursuits, we are ready to kill our own people. Here concludes, I think, the Swajana argument. Indeed, even the first chapter. because he becomes extremely sad. See, when you start thinking on these lines, one becomes very, very, very sad. Even the whole class looks very, very sad just now. It does. Everybody is becoming so serious. Yes. Oh, the terrible of the state of women. All the colonizers come, and then what to do? And nobody knows what to do. It is a very valid argument. He's just not seeing the whole picture, that's all. He's not able to see the whole picture, which is why he needs Krishna, which is why he needs the Bhagavad Gita. Thanks to him, which is why we all need the Bhagavad Gita, which is why we are studying it. So this is a serious argument. And he's becoming sadder and sadder and sadder. We can see this. And so in fact, as we chant the next verses, the voice also should, I think Arjuna's voice also should be changed, you know. He will just be tired. Aho and the last ones you can't even hear the words. So he's just very upset. And then he says, it's better I am killed in this war rather than I kill them. Because doesn't matter if they don't see me as Svajana. I see them as Svajana. I don't want this battle because I'm convinced of the ills of this battle. I would rather have them in my life and let them take the kingdom. I don't have greed for the kingdom, let them take it. Without the war going on. You see, he doesn't run away, which is very interesting. He says, I'd rather die. And I'd rather die because he has a plan. He says, I'm going to keep my Gandiva, trusted Gandiva bow, I'm going to take it out from my shoulder and the quiver of arrows to put it aside. I'm just going to sit in the chariot. Take me to the battlefield. In fact, they are already in between the two armies. Kettle drum has sounded. And then what is left? For a volley of arrows and cannonballs and all kinds of things to fly, this back and forth, mantra-powered missiles, this, that, all of this. And one of them will get me. Finished. Ram Nam Satya hai. Finished. I will be gone. And that is how I would prefer to die rather than wield an arrow against Bhishma, against Karna, against Drona, etc. Yadi mama pratikaram shastram shastrapanayah dhartarashtrarane hanyuh tanme kshemataram bhavet. So, yadi, if mam, apratikaram mam, ashastram mam, all these qualify mam. What is mam? Me. If these Dhartarashtras, these sons of Dhritarashtra, who are what? Shastra prapanayah, armed to the teeth. Shastra panayah, holding all kinds of shastras in their hands, armed to the teeth. If they hanyuhu, if they kill me, hanyuhu mam, where? Rane, in the battle. Tatame kshemataram bhavet, that would be better for me. What kind of a me? Apratikaram, non-retaliatory me. The one who is not fighting back. Pratikara means the one who is giving answers to their bows and arrows. So the quiet, non-fighting me. And then ashastram, the unarmed me. If they kill, who are these people? These greedy Dhartarashtras. If they kill me, who are armed to the teeth, that would be better for me. Because I don't want to live to this. I don't want to be causing I don't want to be causing the confusion in the society. Therefore, I'm not going to fight. Then he is too tired So Sanjaya has to finish his words for him, and the last verse of the first chapter goes with Sanjaya's conclusion. Sanjaya uvacha. Sanjaya uvacha. Eva muktvārjuna sankhye. Eva muktvārjuna sankhye. Rathopastha upavishat. Rathopastha upavishat. Visrijya sasharam chapam. Visrijya sasharam chapam. Shoka samvigna manasaha. Shoka samvigna manasaha. So then Sanjaya has to conclude because he is too depressed, too dejected, too tired, mentally tired. And so what does Sanjaya say? Eva muktva. Having spoken such a lot, and he is also out of breath. Having spoken such a lot, having spoken in this manner for the whole chapter, Sankhye, in the battlefield, Arjuna, Rathopasthe, in the seat of the chariot, Upavishat, sat down. The verb is wish to enter, but there are two prefixes, Upa and A. Asamantat, totally Upa, near, having that idea, but it changes the meaning to sit. So, he sits down in the chariot. How does he sit down? Visrijya, leaving aside, setting aside, leaving, tyaktva, visrijya, leaving aside what? Sasharam, chapam, bow, sharam, arrow, sasharam, along with his bows, the arrows also he leaves on the side of the chariot or on the floor of the chariot. In fact, the Gandiva was already slipping from his hand when he was in the middle of a panic attack. So, and what kind of an Arjuna? Shoka samvigna manasaha. Shokena samvignaha. Shoka samvignaha. Shoka samvignam mano yasya. Shoka samvigna manasaha. So, shoka means sadness, sorrow. Samvigna means agitation. So the mind, the one whose mind is agitated by sorrow. Bhaya chalanayoho, the root word in Vigna is which bhaya chalanayoho. So that means the one who has lot of fear and agitation. So the sorrow laced with agitation, that kind of a mind, the one whose mind has sorrow laced with agitation, this kind of an Arjuna, leaving behind his bow and arrow, sits down in the chariot, which is really a no-no. We are not come there for a joyride. The seat is simply given, that's all. You are supposed to be standing to get ready to fight. You can't be sitting down and having thumbs up. You know, so therefore, this is the, on the sad note, the first chapter ends, and this is something we repeat after every chapter. Om Tat Sat. Om Tat Sat. Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gitasu. Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gitasu. Upanishatsu. Brahma Vidyayam. Yoga Shastre. Shri Krishna Arjuna Sambhade. Arjuna Vishada Yogo Nama. Prathamo Dhyayah. So this is something that was added later on after every chapter. Very nice to repeat. It is exactly the same. Only the last 2 or 3 words will change. Here it is called Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Next one will be called Sankhya Yoga, but the rest of it will be the same. Every chapter has a name. That also was a later interpolation. Om Tat Sat. Om is the only reality. What is Om? Ishvara, Brahman. Tat Brahman. Om is the sound, what is that? The sound symbol of that reality, which is Tat. What is Tat? Brahman, which is the only reality. Nice to come from his sorrow, which we have identified with, and see that this is the only, Om is the only reality, Tat is the only reality, Brahman is the only reality. So all this we don't have to worry about. Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita Su. Gita Su, plural for respect. Like you say instead of tum. So use plural for respect. So why it is Srimad? Because it is full of Shri, Shriya Yukta. Because why? Bhagavan, which is described by the Bhagavad Gita, is full of Shri, all kinds of abundance, victory, resources, power, fame, knowledge, Samarthyam, all that we saw. Yashas, everything we saw. 6 kinds of bhagas were described, that is Bhagavan, and one of those bhagas is Shri itself. But Shri, generally speaking, is akin to Bhaga itself. So Shriman is a very nice title for Bhagavan. And since in the tradition, every person is seen as Shriman, instead of Mr. and Mrs., we use Shriman and Shrimati, which is very nice. See, even in the everyday postal language, bank language, we have Vedanta. Really speaking, it should only be reserved for Bhagavan, because Shri belongs to him. But here, everybody we address as Shriman. Every lady we address as Shrimati. Amazing. So, Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So, why not Srimati Bhagavad Gita? Because it's in a compound. So, therefore, it reverts to its Pratipadika. It reverts to its root form. So, here, Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So, in the Bhagavad Gita, which is a description of Bhagavan, which is full of Shri, this abundance and this fullness, which is the vision of Vedanta, may this fill my heart. That is the prayer here. It is Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So, and what is this Gita? Upanishad. So, in this Gita, which is like an Upanishad, it is the vision of it, the Upanishad and the Bhagavad Gita are identical, one and the same. It gives the knowledge of oneness without leaving anything behind. It tells you that you are Ishvara, no ifs, buts, nothing. No, addendum to it. This is how it is. And then Upanishad Su, which is like an Upanishad, which has 2 topics which we have talked about before. One is called Brahmavidya. Brahmavidyaya, because everything here is in 7th case. In. Brahmavidya. What is Brahmavidya? The knowledge that one is Brahman. Don't say knowledge of Brahman. Right? It's like saying the head of Rahu. What is Rahu?
Shadow.
All head. Yeah. Rahu is all head. So if I say head of Rahu, it doesn't mean anything at all. Therefore, the Brahma Vidya, like head of Rahu, is a Aupachariki Shashti, it is called. It is a possessive case, alright. It's a possessive case. But what kind of a possessive case? As though the 6th case. Just for the sake of being a 6th case it is. So we should say knowledge of Brahman, because then again we are practicing a duality, a subtle duality in the thinking. There is Brahman and it's an object, so I want the knowledge of it. Which color, what does it feel like, what does it, how is the Brahman experience, please describe. All this we should not go there. So better to translate it as knowledge that is Brahman, Brahma Vidyaya, which is the knowledge of oneself as totally free of what Arjuna has. What does Arjuna have? Sorrow, shoka, which is the result of shoka of seeing all his relatives in the war. So this shoka is the cause of the confusion. This shoka is the cause of confusion in the conduct and which has led to this war. And the shoka is also the result of confusion in the mind, thinking that I am just a human being. That is why. I am just a human being separated from everybody and everything else. And so, shoka samvigna manasaha we saw. And so here, this Brahma Vidya is not enough because Brahma Vidya needs preparation. Because it reverses the vision of oneself. What is the vision of oneself? I am sad. That is the vision of oneself. It is totally reversed. I am sad to I am whole. I am sad to I am contented. I am bad to I am the best thing there is. I am lacking to I am full. Complete, nothing in common with the before and after. Sometimes in these dentist offices they have before and after pictures of the teeth. Yeah, and you can see how the teeth were before all crooked and everything, and then they put some braces and the smile is worth $1 million. Not, this is no comparison to the before and after. After is what I want to be. I'm stuck in this land of before. And so shoka samvigna manasaha. And so this manas that was so sad is now going to be turned around by Brahma Vidya. The light of Brahma Vidya is going to shine on this sorrow and dry it out totally. But for that to happen, the mind must be receptive. The antahkarana, the inner instrument must be able to be in a place of shraddha, receptivity to gain this knowledge. So therefore, Yoga Shastra, in Yoga Shastra, that Yoga Shastra is Karma Yoga. How to cultivate Shraddha, Bhakti, how to make every action a worship in order to emotionally mature and gain this knowledge. That is what is written here, Yoga Shastra. Yoga Shastra, how is this all presented? Sri Krishna Arjuna Samvade. In this respected conversation, holy conversation between the Shishya, who is the Shishya? Arjuna. And who is the teacher? Between the teacher and disciple, Krishna Arjuna Samvade, Arjuna Vishada Yoga. So it is called, the yoga here is not yogasana. And it's not some kind of yoga that you have to practice. Oh, first I have to practice becoming sad, then I qualify for Vedanta, no such thing. Yoga is just a name, Sangati. It is just a name of the chapter here. The word yoga we'll see in detail, it means many things, but here it is simply the name of the chapter. Sri Krishna Arjuna Samvade, Arjuna Vishada Yoga, the chapter which is called Arjuna's sorrow is presented, is ended here. Why do we have to learn about Arjuna's sorrow? Because it is fascinating. Because it's the entry point of how does one enter Vedanta. It is a very wonderful thing to know. What took Arjuna? He had so many years in the forest, he could have asked for this knowledge anytime. What did it take for Arjuna to gain this knowledge? This is what we have studied here. And with this, the first chapter closes. Tomorrow we will start the second chapter. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.